Great. Yeah, so welcome everyone to the 2025 launch and orientation. Uh, Happy to have you here. Love to have seen you in person, but this is a very convenient way for us to do it. First thing is that we want to acknowledge that when we're operating our farmers markets all across British Columbia, where all of our organizations we're partnering with, where the participants, where the farmers are, is primarily on unceded Indigenous territories across the land, which is now called British Columbia. So we as an organization and individually as members of the team are doing work to understand the impact of Canada's colonial past and present and building relationships with Indigenous peoples to foster an inclusive community for current and future generations. As a probably less significant side note, the Vancouver Farmers Market is starting a partnership with an Indigenous tourism organization and making space for Indigenous vendors to be at their downtown market that's opening in a couple of weeks. And so there's some ways that we both have the statement, but are always looking for ways for it to actually have some living space. Now, this is if you've attended these before in person or online, it's always important for us to restate the mission, which has not altered, which is to support, develop, and promote farmers markets in British Columbia. So this program and virtually everything we do, the things that we'll talk about later that are kind of new or layered over on the coupon program, should all align with that mission to support, develop, and promote farmers markets in BC. Here's the the agenda for today. We've had the welcome introductions. I'm going to talk about the coupon program this year with some sprinklings in of my colleagues as well. I think Quinn and some of the team will talk about administering the nutrition coupon program. What's new in 2025 shows up, sprinkles throughout here. We're going to spend some time talking about selecting participants as we talked about how we were at first asked to introduce income testing and means testings to selecting participants, and that is not a requirement that we have. Some of you may have often ask us for help in making some decisions around who to select when you have more that are in need than there are spots available. So we'll have a few minutes where we'll talk about that. Then we'll go over the tools and resources. So that'll fall back into the helping support you to administer the nutrition coupon program. So to while I've talked about the mission already, I just wanted to give you a perspective of how the age of the organization. It was founded in 2000, and there are over 145 member farmers markets across all regions of British Columbia. I have to check this out, but my we have a colleague in Nova Scotia who always proudly boasts that they have the most farmers markets per capita in Nova Scotia. But we all know that there are barely any people living in Nova Scotia, so that is feels like not a hard one to meet. We just have to figure out what it is that BC has. And one of them is we have the largest, most successful, and often modeled nutrition coupon program, which has inspired Nova Scotia, Manitoba, Quebec, some areas in Ontario to operate programs that have started smaller and continue to grow based on the fact that our program has been successful. They're able to get and attract funding to offer it to their community. So I'm going to switch over to the nutrition coupon program. And as Quinn mentioned, you're welcome to put questions in the chat, and then Quinn, gentle moderator that she is, will maybe bring the questions in moments, or we'll save them towards the end of a section, depending on her whim and desires. So we talked about the mission of the organization. The coupon program itself has some objectives. So when we ask you to do what you do, it's because we want to meet these objectives. So it has, I'm going to point out three. Two are on this page. The first is that we want to increase access to healthy local food for three specific target populations that have been identified by the province of British Columbia. So we're increasing access to healthy local food for low-income pregnant persons, families with children, and seniors and elders in order to improve the health of those lower income British Columbians. Paired with that objective number three, which goes back to our mission to support, promote, and develop farmers markets, is that this program should improve the economic prosperity of British Columbia farmers who sell at BC farmers markets. And it is supported by the province of British Columbia to the tune of, again, this last year we got the same amount of funding as we had the previous year. So just over $4 million, $4.2 million is what is their investment in the coupon program this year again. Okay, so now going to get into some beginnings and endings, and this has been shared out, but it's important for you to know this. If we're having an in-person orientation, you would be receiving your materials in hand, but then the coupons are able to be redeemed starting on Friday, June 20th. That's the first day they should show up in the farmers markets. You may receive your materials between you should receive your materials before then, but know that even if you're distributing them earlier, the farmers markets will be ready, prepared, and ready to accept coupons at that time. We're having the coupon program last up until Sunday, December 21st. And that is the last day that if a market is operating on that weekend right before the Christmas holidays, they can accept coupons. But you may be in a area or a community where the farmers market operates a shorter season. It may operate a longer season. So if it's a shorter season, the last day in your community will depend on the last day of the market there. If your market continues on for the next weekend and into the new year, then we're the coupons are no longer valid after that. So that means when you're enrolling households in the program, which we've already communicated to all the partners, how many households that you can support, each household will receive 16 weeks of sheets. So that means in that 27-week period, June 20th to December 21st, they can spend those coupons during that time. Of course, they would be receiving those coupons, I think, as we'll explain a little bit later, in intervals, so they're not receiving them all 16 coupons on June 20th. Rather it's being dispersed over the 27 weeks, so they have the you have the opportunity to share with them 16 weeks of sheets. Quinn, how's it going so far? So I'll make sure if there's any clarifications or something I said that needs to be amended or corrected.
No, I think you're good. I'm trying to get other people into the meeting, so I'm half distracted, but
Oh, sure. Okay.
good so far.
All right. Uh, Now here's a few new things that are happening in 2025. You see there's five. They seem to be coded. The color coding will be important for two of them, and just is colorful for the other three. So um, as you can see, there's going to be a CIHR study by the University of Calgary at Alberta. We're 90% sure that'll occur. There's still a few steps that need to be finished before it's actually able to occur this year. We have in place a digital card pilot in the communities of Sicamous and Pender Island, along with another card initiative that isn't related to the coupon program, but we'll be using the digital cards. And there's also a UBC research project. We have some connection with Feeding Futures, which is a school funding that schools receive to support low-income students to be able to eat healthy. And then we also have a Canada Summer Jobs position that's going to be working on an accessibility project. And I believe there are slides where each one gets more detailed, so we'll get a chance to pause on those. So the first, and this is the one that is going to be most relevant to both markets and partners. We ran a CIHR study for the coupon program, I think in 2020 or 2021. This is a follow-up study that will improve the way the study is done in order to meet the objective of understanding our impact on family well-being. And so the family well-being will both include social connectiveness, social determinants of health, and improvements in access to nutritious food. It's also going to explore the what amount of coupon dollars is optimal to improve diet quality and support families and food security. So now I'm going to explain the study to you, and on our team, Carrie is going to be a liaison with the CIHR study. So she'll be doing a lot of support with you as partners in markets where this occurs. So in this study, we, and when I say we are inviting 276 parent-child pairs who are part of the FMNCP, but rather you as partners have the opportunity to identify 276 parent-child pairs province-wide. So the weight for this isn't on five community partners, but 10 community partners or one to find that many people. But we're looking for as many community partners who would be willing to help us find these parent-child pairs. So the parent-child pair will have a parent or caregiver and one of their children who's 6 to 12 years old. They have some living together a certain amount of time. And then of those 276, one third of them will receive $27 a week. One third of them will receive $54 per week. And the third will receive math 3, 6, whatever 3 times 27 is, um, will receive that per week. They're randomized, so you as a partner don't know who gets it. They just get an envelope that Carrie has prepackaged and sent along based on the random number. So that's it. Then the participants are able to participate in the program as per usual. Again, if they're receiving the 1x, 2x, or 3x, they'll get that consistently over the 16-week period. They have a job to do. They'll be asked to complete a online survey, do a dietary recall, and a at-home blood work 3 times throughout the study. They're able to participate as completely as they like to in all the aspects of it, and in exchange for their participating in the program, depending on as they complete each of the voluntary aspects of it, it qualifies them for higher amount in gift cards to if they collect all of the data collection, and they can receive up to $360. And they'll have an option of getting a gift card that can be used at Canadian retailers or the same amount of value to shop at the farmers market in 2026. So they would get that as an option as well. Now, that's when we're looking at community partners, we're asking community partners to invite participants that you think fit the study criteria and complete the pre-screening survey. I think that's the participants who you have invited complete the pre-screening survey. Carrie would be shipping the coupons in sealed envelopes to you to distribute to the select participants. And then using we'd have a simple record keeping system whereby you would record when they got their envelopes and if they attended a nutrition skill building activity. If you're a farmer's market, you'll have the role to orient the vendors to accept the coupons. So, and then The coupons are, we'll see the all the different coupons in a few minutes, but we have three different, the coupons are all the same, but they have a different external banner. You see these ones are brown on the side and the top. These brown ones are the study coupons that you'll separately report, bundle, and mail coupons, just like Ministry of Health. So when in any week you're just excluding the ones that are with the study setting and then counting them separately, but you're throwing them in the same package. But when you report online, you got 100 regular coupons, 20 study coupons, and then that's it. It's a very the for the farmers markets role, the community partners role, we try to make it very simple. Um, Quinn, how's it going? Everything okay?
Yeah, we have a few questions about this study in the chat. Thanks, Mandy. You're answering some of those. Someone asked, does each community partner choose three families? I think Carrie, you can feel free to jump in, but um, the woman running this study is getting in touch with the community partners to make sure you guys are interested in participating and that your participants are qualified to participate. And then once the community partners are confirmed, she'll work with you to enroll however many participants from your organization. Carrie, you
Yeah,
want to?
and that's a thanks, Quinn, for answering. The other question that has come up a few times is, do we get additional spots because of this? No. So we're just swapping the spots. So if you say you have three people participating in the study, then we'll ask you to hold back those three sets of coupons. So it's not additional spaces, if that makes sense.
If you're an organization that only works with seniors, then you won't be included in the study. We'll be focusing on partners that work with families with children and our ethic approved materials. When Yun gets in touch with you, she'll talk about the ethics involved. They're getting it approved by their ethics committee. And I think there's some sort of agreement to sign off on. Blood work. Carrie, do you have any details about the blood work and what's involved with that?
Yes, the blood work is minimal. So they have like a finger prick type of a test, and they're asking participants to do it three times, once before they start using the coupons, and then midway, and then I think towards the end. And those kits are mailed out to the participants. They do them, and then they mail them back. Um, Through couriers, likely if there's a Canada Post strike, they're making sure that there's a way for them to do that.
That's all for now.
Good. Well, thanks. And I think Quinn, I did too many slides and should have tossed it to Carrie. Because-
I
yeah.
appreciate it. I'm working through the attendance still, so thank you
Okay.
kindly.
All right. And am I on the next slide too? That's where I wasn't I've been out of town for a few days, so I'm
Uh, what's the next one?
it's about excess feeding futures, it looks like.
You can take it.
Yeah. So another one that we had where the color is important is that we have a and we did this a little bit last year, so that's why it says newish, not new. But some BC schools contacted us because they have this provincial funding to support students who are in need of better nutrition. And some of them are looking for options because the kids aren't in school in the summer to help support them during the summer to make sure they can still continue to get some nutritious food. So we've had a couple of school districts reach out to us in order to secure coupons. And so we've created this type of coupon, which is again, if you look at the core coupon, it's the same, the green, blue, the yellow, which we'll talk about it in a little bit, but the outside is purple and as opposed to brown. So those will be handled primarily by the school district who hands them to the students. Or in the case of the Sea to Sky area, there's some partners who just are getting referrals and we send them the coupons, they distribute them. There again, the farmers are going to accept them as per usual. And so the farmers market should orient them to say that either the purple, the brown, or the regular coupons, which are banded with pink, are all acceptable. And that if you're seeing purple coupons, you're keeping them separate and counting them and sending them in at the same time separately. So in any given week, you may have just nutrition coupons. You may also have feeding future coupons. You may have study coupons. We just ask, you'll have a chance to report them each individually. Um, as often happens sometimes when you receive some of the other currency, like the fruit and veg vouchers. The participating communities are listed there. So if you don't see your community there, you're not likely to see the coupons, but people can spend their coupons wherever they can. So if you're not in one of the participating communities of Squamish, Whistler, Pemberton, Invermere, Golden, Kimberley, Vanderhoof, Burns Lake, and Penticton, you likely won't see them, but if you do and you can separate them, that's helpful to us. If they end up getting bundled all together, we don't. There's no penalty for that. We just ask you to try. Janet, hi.
Hi, Peter. I just have a question.
Yeah.
One of my families regularly receives assistance from the school, but the mom attends one of my programs. So they're not going to be able to get Feeding Futures and from me within my program, correct?
I like we don't the Feeding Futures program is separate from the nutrition coupon program.
Okay.
So we often ask for community partners to do their best to make sure that if a family is being supported in one partner, that they are not also being supported in any of the other partners too. But Feeding Futures is completely different and not tied to the nutrition coupon program. So we don't have any concerns
Okay.
other than if someone's if they're accepting it in both places means someone else in need isn't getting anything and they're getting more than they need, that's fine. But it's not really something that you don't have to spend a lot of time on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's the same dollar amount?
It's the same dollar amount, yeah. But
Okay.
no, I'm sorry. In Penticton, the difference will be they'll receive digital cards with $50 that's loaded on it for the season. Is that right, Quinn? I think that's correct. They'll get one load of $50
Right.
and they'll be distributing that to 700 families.
Got it.
So they'll have the cards and be able to shop with the cards, and then another batch of people will have the coupons who are in the nutrition coupon program. In the other communities besides Penticton, they'll be receiving these sheets of coupons, and they may be handing them out as one or two per family or three or four per family. The school is going to make that decision. So, yeah. Accessibility project. Quinn, you just tell me when I needed to toss it to someone.
Mandy, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, thanks there.
Sure. So the accessibility project is very near and dear to my heart. And with the support of the Canada Summer Jobs Funded Student, we have we will be sharing this toolkit that we've worked hard on over the last little bit with farmers markets and vendors. We'll be able to conduct audits, support farmers markets and vendors to improve accessibility, just so that we can have a inclusive market and to maybe include some folks that we didn't realize were being excluded unintentionally.
Yeah, so that means for partners and markets, there's nothing really that changes for you for the coupon program, other than we're going to have this extra tool that we're going to make available to you and ability to check on how things are going in your community. It's also something that we want to take our initial version of the toolkit and learn how to make it adapted towards the how farmers markets and operate and what's unique about them to make them more accessible. So, yeah. And then the UBC research project. So, yeah. So I don't know how many of you listen to Jordan Marr's podcast, Farming in British Columbia. I recommend it if you like to listen to all things about farming. Quite a bit of topics there. But he had a podcast a couple years ago where he he did the current state of BC farmers markets with Wiley, our current president, and it was the most downloaded podcast he ever had. So he said, I want to hit that viral again. I'm going to have a conversation with 6 farmers, 3 who are still selling at farmers markets and 3 who have left selling at farmers markets. I found that very fascinating. And it led us to when UBC reached out saying they have some graduate students who are looking for research projects. We're going to empower them to do some deep dive into some of the farmers who have left our markets over the last 3 years, based on noticing who's no longer accepting coupons from one year to the next, because we have some of that data, and reaching out to some of those farmers, and if they agree, learn why they stopped selling at a farmer's markets in order to determine if there are some things that can be adjusted as an experience at a market in order to make the experience something that works for them. As you can imagine, in that podcast, some of the reasons people left are related to an experience in a market, and some of them are not. So we don't expect it's all us. Sometimes it's them. That's the reason that they're not with us anymore. But we just want to make sure that whatever farmers markets do, that they're a frictionless place for someone to actually have a profitable farming business. So that's going to be occurring over the summer. On this call, if you're a farmer's market and you know of farmers that have left the market, and you believe they, might be willing to participate in either a phone call or fill out a survey, please shoot to your regional coordinator or any of us an email or a contact, and we'll add them to the rotation. And then the last thing that I'll mention here is the digital card pilot, which we've been working on trying to get this off the ground for a couple of years now. This is a way to have an alternative to the paper coupons. So the $27 per week is loaded up on such a card, and farmers are set up so that they can scan the cards and charge people to the penny how much they purchased. The card then gives, the participant can learn how much is remaining on the card. At the end of the day, for the farmers market manager, they just have to look at the report to determine how many digital coupons were the value of the digital coupon that goes to farmer A, B, and C. There's no counting, there's no mailing, there's no counting it again. And so we had a successful winter pilot a couple of years ago, and then this year we're having a couple of 2 communities that have agreed to do it, with Penticton participating in the Feeding Futures. So we'll be you won't be, if you're not in Sicamous or Pender Island or Penticton, you won't see a digital card at your market because they can only be spent at that market. But we'll be doing a study on how that works out, and seeing if it's worth introducing even wider to if there's upsides to doing it. We think that there might be, but we want to make sure that it doesn't lose the connectivity we have with the coupon program. So now, still me, Quinn? I don't think so. I think at a certain point.
Yeah, I can take over here. Sure.
Okay, sure. All right.
So we've already seen a couple different versions of coupons you'll be seeing this year. This one here is the main basic coupon that you'll be seeing the most of. These are our regular Ministry of Health funded coupons. So these will be most prevalent at your markets. Go to the next slide, Peter. And then these two, I think they're actually reversed. The brown ones are the CIHR study coupons, and purple are Feeding Futures coupons. So brown will be kind of the next most significant. There'll be a lot of those all over the province, and then those purple Feeding Futures coupons will only be in the communities we showed earlier where some of this funding is getting used. All right, now we're going to get into more details about what our farmers markets and community partners do. We'll go over the administration involved for both of you, the reporting you're required to do, and then some of the tools and resources we have available for you. And I will pass it on to Mandy.
Oh, funny how it takes me like 15 seconds to forget how Zoom works. Okay. For the farmers markets, we'll go through this part first. This is the brochure. So this is what we are going to give the vendors who accept coupons. This goes through all the kind of FAQs of the program, where they can get more information. Of course, for markets, your RCs are always available as well. So feel free to reach out to one of us if you have any questions. The signage is the same as previous years that we have used. We went to a reusable option, so you can pull them out from last year and use those. And we do ask that they are displayed at every accepting vendor, just to make that very clear for our participants. We ask that you price your items very clearly, which can help with decision making and a participant knowing. Okay, sorry, I just saw my name pop up at the bottom. Easily distracted. Just help our participants knowing what they can get with their coupons in that particular shop. And to know that the coupons come in $3 amounts. So if possible, we are not obviously requiring this. If you have $3 kind of bundles, that can be super helpful for our participants. And then again, those are just the color of the coupons that you may see throughout the market season. On the next slide, please. Thank you. We give also some like general guidelines on here as well. We require that you enroll the vendors, and there's no change given for coupons, only accept from customers. So like you can't, it's to prevent other vendors from taking them and then using them for the allotted items. Make sure that the coupons are valid, that they are this year's, and we aren't using them before the 20th of June or after December 21st. Only from this year. Only available to use at the market, not at the farm stand. So a vendor cannot come in with coupons that they have redeemed throughout the week at their own farm stand. We ask that they hand in the coupons at the market that they were redeemed at. And to have an understanding of how they are going to be reimbursed from the market manager. So if the guidelines aren't followed, you may not be reimbursed. So we just want to make that very clear that we have parameters of the program that need to be respected fully in order for reimbursements to happen. And you could lose your ability to even sell at the market. So then we just go through, again, what each color of the coupons is good for. We have the green, blue, yellow. Coupons cannot be used to buy prepared or processed foods. So you can buy the strawberries, you cannot buy the jam. And goes through really quickly how participants get coupons, which we will go through in the community partner thing a little bit later. Are the restrictions not allowed? Hang on, let me just answer that question really quick. Yes. Yes, they are decided by the Ministry of Health. And then this is the enrollment form. Sorry, Peter, can I ask you to skip ahead? This is the enrollment form for the vendor that the market manager will keep, and that can be used to do your vendor reporting at the end of this season. Okay, so this is the end of season report. If I could get you to skip ahead again for me. So this is an annual report. We only need it once after you've signed up all your vendors. Your honorarium will not be released until your RC or Quinn gets this report. We're getting kind of grumpy about it. Please give us our reports. And then if we can go ahead from there. Okay, so obviously at markets, we have vendors that can't accept coupons. And this is the brochure that they get, just so that they understand how the program works, why they can't accept coupons. And again, it's got the breakdown of the colors of what each coupon is good for, and what they are not allowed to buy with them. So there's also some things that here, like what to say if someone tries to use coupons for non-eligible items. Can I accept coupons to buy from other vendors? And this is why we tell our vendors that they are not allowed to accept coupons from anybody but the customers themselves. And why can't coupons be used for all items? This program focuses on helping people buy local nutritious foods directly from BC farmers who sell at BC farmers markets. So again, it's the whole food, not the processed part. And then again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to the same numbers there. It's got our contact information. Okay, so if we could go, we're going to follow the money. So how it works is we, as the program, we send money to markets. The vendors accept the coupons. The vendor then gives those coupons to the market. Market gives money to the vendor. Farmers market, super important part, reports the coupons weekly, because that's how we know when to send you money. If you don't report, we don't send you money. So if you report it, when you get low, we send you more money. And we balance the funding there at the end. So this is, we know when you are low. This is what the reports look like when we get them. So you can see Abbotsford, because they're at the top, we'll pick on them. Week 1, that's how many coupons they redeemed. And so forth. If we could skip ahead. This next screen shows us exactly when we need to send more money. So when you hit anything in the yellow, like you can see how Revelstoke is at 72%. If it's early in the season, that'll trigger us to send you more, just so that you are never out of money. If you don't report for a few weeks and then do like a catch-up reporting, we might not know to send you more, and that might put you in a bit of a pickle. So we use this report here based on your reporting to send you more money.
You're going to shame me.
I'm going to shame you?
When it's our turn, Lillian, don't worry.
Yeah. For you. Make sure you call me and include me in your presentation.
Oh, don't worry, because I'm going to.
Oh, okay. So your reports for farmers markets weekly, you report how many coupons you have redeemed. Annually, you do the vendor report. Annually, you do the survey that we hand out to vendors. And if we could skip, thank you. So we mail coupons back every 2 months. So June and July's coupons will come back in August, September, and October, and so on. And we ask that you do mail them back somewhat in an efficient time frame, just because Quinn gets overloaded very, very quickly with a whole ton if they all come in at once. So this is how we would like them sent. Bundled coupons by week, label and bundle. Quinn has to go through every one of these packages. Please be kind to her and send them back in a way that is all organized. So if we could skip ahead, please, Peter. You're going to have these labels that come through with the number of pink, purple, and brown coupons, and have them all bundled together. Can we skip ahead? So we can see here some nice packages, and you can imagine what Quinn unfortunately deals with at the office. So each week of coupons will get that label we just looked at. In the box that all your weeks are in, if we could skip ahead. We'll have this label per box. So this will say breakdown per week. So week 1, how many you have, week 2, etc. That will go in the box with the coupons that have the weekly label on them. And then you will have a Okay, so I'm sorry, you're getting confused. So this is what the market manager will deal with after the coupons have been redeemed. So the vendors have given you your coupons for the week. That week gets bundled together. You count how many of each color coupon you have, so pink, brown, or purple. That's what you report. And you write that on the weekly label, you bundle it, you put it in a box. When your 2 months is done, this label also goes in that box. So hopefully that's a little bit clear. And you attach the prepaid label, of course, as always, strike pending, but I believe mail is still going through right now. So we're just gonna hope that it stays that way. Okay, and now we're into the partner side. And is there any questions that are on the market side right now? Okay. I don't see any hands, so I'm just gonna go forward.
Oh, Mandy, we just
Okay.
got a question in the chat. You're saying farmers market managers will give coupons to us, distributors, picking the families, and we send them back. No, so that whole section we just went over is only what farmers markets are in charge of. So we send all the coupon sheets initially out to community partners. You distribute those sheets to your participants. The participants go spend their coupons with vendors at the market. The market managers collect all of the spent coupons from the vendors, and it's the farmers markets that need to package them up and label them, like we just saw, fill out those label stickers, fill out their packing sheet. They combine all of their coupons for the 2-month period and mail them back to us so we can audit them. Hoping to clarify where the weekly reporting template can be found. The weekly reports will be emailed to all of you. So there's a farmers market version where you report how many coupons were redeemed at your market that week. This year you saw the 3 different colored coupons. You're going to report all 3 of those different colors separately. So you'll report pink coupons, brown coupons, and purple coupons. Just like that. This is your label, but the numbers you report and the numbers on your label should hopefully all match up. If they don't match up, this is when you're going to have me emailing you and bothering you, wondering what the proper number should be. And then the next section we're going to go into is for the community partners. Go ahead, Mandy.
Okay, so community partners. Okay, so the first thing we have is the recipient enrollment. So when you are choosing your participants, this is what you give them and their agreement to work within the program. So 1 spot is 1 household. So what we've had in a lot of communities are people taking sheets of coupons and maybe adding 3 to multiple households on 1 allocation. The Ministry of Health has made it very clear that that is not their goal for this. So as much as absolutely possible, 1 spot is 1 household. So the other information on there just goes through how many people are in your household that are, pregnant, senior, under 19, totals and just an agreement to abide by the program. So the lower income and target populations, can we skip? Perfect. So the target populations of Ministry of Health funded coupons. Pregnant persons, the participant should be pregnant at the time of enrollment. You can continue to support them for the remainder of the season, even if they are no longer pregnant. Families with children. Priority is for families with children of age up to 6. However, families with children up to age 19 may be included. And then seniors and elders. So we do not provide an age cutoff to qualify as senior/elder. Partners are welcome to set your own age or allow people to self-identify, but that is not a parameter that we have set in stone for you. For allocations that are funded with external funding, so if you have purchased coupons from us, the recipient must be a lower income, but they are not required to be pregnant, have children in the home, or be a senior. All right, can we skip ahead, please?
I was just going to say, if you could mention there's that sentence below, because there are some people who have non-Ministry of funded coupons. Did you mention that, or
Yes, so if you have purchased coupons, or if your coupons come from a different source than the Ministry of Health, they are required to go to low income, but they don't necessarily have to be pregnant, have children in the home, or be senior. And there was a question there. Why is low income separately stated? Because it was a big point in our negotiations with the Ministry of Health earlier in the season to get things going, that one of the concern was that low income participants were not receiving the coupons. So we just want to be very clear that that is where these are directed. Christine, yes. If you have purchased coupons, you can give them to persons with disabilities. Absolutely. So determining low income. It is required for partners to provide these coupons exclusively to lower income participants. We do not provide a standardized process such as income testing to determine eligibility. We do require your organization to ensure enrolled participants are lower income through your organization's process. So the process to determine lower income should be done in a dignified and non-stigmatizing way. We are not interested in furthering any stigmas due to accessing food programs. We just want to ensure that these are going to the participants that do need it the most. So this is a screening tool that we have. Peter, can you please skip for me? That we have that you may use. The following questions ask about your household's ability to decide what you eat, and you can go through those with your participants. Okay, can you confirm the eligibility questionnaire forms will only be required and signed for the allocations not purchased coupons? So even if you are receiving funds that are not ministry allocated, you still need to fill out the participant report for them at the end of the year. We'll get into that in a minute. So although they don't necessarily have to be senior or pregnant or have children in the home, we do still want to know how far the coupons are reaching. So we will need some information. Okay, so if we can skip ahead. So this is a brochure, that is given to participants. So this helps explain the program, right? So how to use their coupons, what the signage looks like, and this will go through which each coupon is good for. So with green coupons being good for fruits, vegetables and herbs, dairy and eggs, the plants as well. So you can buy a tomato plant and not just the tomato and nuts. Blue is good for everything I just said, plus meat, fish, seafood, and meat. The yellow is good for everything I've just said, as well as honey. So again, it goes through that the coupons are not to be used for prepared or processed foods. It also has the dates on there of expiry, that they cannot be sold or traded, and how to get in contact with us if they have any other questions. If program starts on June 20th, aren't most plaids gone? In some regions, the plans are just getting started, so it depends on where you are. Okay, if we could skip ahead. So partners distributing coupons, we ask that this is done at regular intervals. We are really hoping to avoid all coupons being distributed once or twice a season. That's the point, is to have it as a regular. Weekly is ideal. Bi-weekly is still fine. Intervals in order to ensure extended nutrition throughout the market season. And if we could go ahead. Check-in and support. Community partners connect with the participants in order to support success, reduce barriers. A lot of times we have workarounds that we can provide to a participant if there are barriers, but we can't help if we don't know. So if you are checking in with your participants, you might find some reasons why they are or aren't using their coupons, and that information is always really helpful in supporting the program. Can we go ahead, please? Okay, so participants shop at farmers markets for these eligible items: vegetables, fruit, cheese, eggs, nuts, herbs, food plants, meat, and honey. And of course, those are all written on the coupons that they can use for those items. Okay, and if we go up to the participant form that we do at the end of the year. So this has some information on participants. We do not need their full legal names. We don't want it. We certainly don't want phone numbers or anything like that. On the forms where we get that information, we delete it and we take it out. That's amazing. Thank you so much for doing that. I don't know if everybody just saw that in the chat, that they supply transportation to the market bi-monthly for elders, as this is a barrier. We also shop for elders unable to attend in person. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Back to the form, sorry. The participants, I got your email, Maureen, I'm on it. The participant information that we ask for is a code, initials, and then some statistical information. And this just enables us to show our funders exactly how far the program is going. And we get this once a year. And once again, your honorarium is not paid out until we get our form.
Andy, can I for a second?
Yeah, for sure.
Question it was from a market about participants just being oriented about how to use the program. They find often shoppers are coming to the market, but they have no idea how to use their coupons. So we supply you with the participant information brochures that we saw a couple of slides ago, but we hope, don't just hand them all a slip of paper and hope they will read it and understand. It's important for community partners to properly brief your participants on how the program works. So make sure they know what the green, blue, and yellow coupons can be used for. Make sure they know to be looking out for these vendor signs so they know which vendors they can be shopping with. It's also great for community partners and markets to connect with each other. If sometimes community partners are able to come bring all your participants to the market. Maybe the market manager can give you a little tour of the market so people get familiarized. But yeah, make sure there's just that little piece of orienting the participants themselves so they understand fully how the program works. And there are, all of these brochures are on the partner portal. So if you want extras, if you don't want to wait for them to come in the mail, they're available online to you now. And then if markets want to print off participant brochures to give out at the market, you're certainly welcome to do that. And we do have brochures in multiple languages. They are in the partner portal. They are from a few years ago, so I think they have the wrong program dates on them, but all the program information itself is all still correct. So if you give those out, just make sure they're aware of the 2025 program dates. Your materials will be brought to you. We will still bring them to all of the in-person orientations. So if someone is able to come pick them up, that's great. Or we try to leave as many behind as we can if we can send them along with other people to help get delivered. Or our regional coordinators might take a bunch and have deliver them to you. And then any we can't get to you that way, we will mail out courier if we have to, or Canada Post, depending what happens. But couriers get very costly, so we're trying to avoid that as much as possible. Go ahead, Mandy.
Okay, so if we could go to the grants page, perfect. So we do offer 2 grants for community partners every year. The first one is a transportation grant, so up to $300 to support participants getting to the market. So this would be something that you could use to have that biweekly transportation for your elders. That would be fantastic. Or anything that you can think of that would help support getting people to the market. That's what this grant is for. We also have the fruit and vegetable grant, which is up to $100 to buy fruit and veggies from your market for activities. So if you want to do a canning session or workshop or things like that, that is what you can use that fruit and vegetable grant for. So those are available to partners. They go live fairly early in the season. And we encourage you to apply for both of those. And then the enrollment form, Kathleen, I'm not sure if everybody just saw her question. If you don't require an actual name, prefer a code, but you need them to sign the enrollment form. No, the participant would sign the form. And the reason is that information actually stays with you. So you keep that enrollment form. We never get it. But if you come into a problem mid-season and that participant is not following the rules, you have something signed by them that says that they agreed to abide. It's also easier to have that information on you and then use that to fill out your report at the end of the year. Because if you have someone that, say, moved halfway through, we still want their information as well as the new person that took over their allocation. Okay, so for partners, your reports. Once a week is how many sheets you distributed. That's weekly. And then one time at the end of the season, we get your participant report. And then we have participant surveys that go out, and that's once a year as well. And then I think this is the end of me, and I believe you get Quinn back.
Sure. All right. Let's see if there were any more questions. Does anyone have any questions either about the role of farmers markets or community partners before we move on? I struggle to find coupon reporting on the site. So on our website, maybe we'll look at it at the end, but there is a coupon program section and the partner portal. All of our materials are uploaded into there. So every weekly report, both for markets and partners, will be in there. All of these materials, enrollment forms and brochures are in there. The grants when they're ready. pretty much everything we use. So the weekly reports are in there. They do take some searching for. Partner portal, you still can't get into. Everyone, there is no password or anything required for our portal. For the member markets, there's a separate portal that requires a password. That's for membership related things. But for the FMNCP portal, it's just on our website. It doesn't require any access of any sort. All right, so our 6 regional coordinators, these people are your main points of contact. We did do a bit of adjusting with the regions this year. So we have Mandy in the interior. She's taking over Kelowna all the way down to Osoyoos Penticton again this year. We have Courtney over in the Kootenays and Columbia Basin. Monica is the Fraser Valley and Metro Vancouver. She's taking over Burnaby and New West this year. She has Surrey, Coquitlam, all the way over to Chilliwack, I think. And then we have Uta up north. Emily is Vancouver Coastal. That also includes the Sea to Sky and Sunshine Coast. And then we have Carrie over on Vancouver Island and all of the Gulf Islands. Next slide. Oh, the partner portal just got linked in the chat as well. And here's a photo. This is where you find the portal on our website. So bcfarmersmarket.org. Across that green band, you see coupon program. And then in that drop-down menu at the very bottom of the list, it says partner portal. That's where you want to go. That's where you'll find everything we've talked about here. So you'll find all of the weekly reports, vendor brochures, the non-eligible vendor brochures, enrollment forms, and the year-end vendor report will be in there as well. Same for community partners, all of your weekly reports, participant brochures, including the ones in other languages, your enrollment forms, your year-end participant report, and we have a section with recipes and other food literacy activities that we try and keep updated. If we see you guys are doing things, running activities and such, we love to hear about them and love to see your photos. And we may ask for your recipes and things you're doing that we'll post in the portal so everyone else can share in those as well. That's the end of the slides. We do have a couple questions in the chat. Is there a way to verify that a client is not registered in more than one partner spot? That's a great question. We don't want participants double dipping, getting coupons from more than one partner. We really encourage you guys to just talk with each other. We know there can be some confidentiality, security measures there. You might not be able to share full names or email addresses, but we find as long as people are able to communicate, it is not often an issue. It has come up a couple times. If we catch it, we'll certainly get in touch with you, but just talk to each other as much as you can. Share what information you can to make sure no one's getting access through more than one partner. All right, we can open it up to more questions now. You can either pop them in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself if you like. There was another one. Is it possible for 2 people to get sent the weekly report links? That way, if I'm on vacation or sick, my admin assistant can get it. Definitely, if they do receive the report, you're both going to be receiving it every week. It's just important that only one person fills out the report. Our dashboard that you saw, it will only populate the first number that got submitted under your organization name. So if more than one people are submitting that form, if the numbers differ, it will just kind of skew the data about how many coupons you're reporting. So just make sure amongst yourselves it's clear who's reporting each week. If someone doesn't want to be receiving all of those weekly emails, again, they can go find the reports in the partner portal at any time. Our applications for participants on the portal. We don't give out an application per se, only those enrollment forms for the people you have selected to participate. I think every partner has their own application process, what information you choose to collect. Partners that work with families and partners that work with seniors are going to require something different. Go ahead, Peter.
Just on that, we've received a couple years ago, we set it up so that if someone is interested in the coupon program, they go to our website oftentimes, and then we have a list of where our partners are, but we don't give them your phone number or your email address or the market manager's name to ask them those questions because we heard that's a lot of extra weight on you to do that. So we have 1,300 names right now of people who would like to receive coupons. We're in the process of cleaning up that information, removing duplicates, and then the regional coordinators will share with you any people in your community who ask to be on the coupon program. So we know though that you may already be working with a small cohort that you already have lined up. It might be that they have to be participating in some certain way in your program. But in the event that you have some capacity and wanted to contemplate these additional names, we will provide them to you. And at which point you can reach out to them if you want them to sign up or to ask to enroll. So we'll send that out to you later this week.
You guys are free to create your own application system just to collect the information from everyone who's applying. And then either using the guidelines we gave you earlier, you can select the participants to participate, and those ones will fill out the enrollment form. What's the weekly total amount in coupons per household? So each household gets 16 sheets. One sheet is $27 times 16 comes to, I think it's 432 per household. I'm not seeing any 2025 materials in the portal. You just need to, maybe we can show it, but you can, on the left, you'll see you can select your target group, whether you're a community partner or a farmer's market. And then below that, there's the other menu. You can select program materials and they should populate there. It is a little clunky. You have to kind of click and unclick those options on the left to make things either appear or disappear. If families move or don't want them anymore, can we take them off and add a different family? Absolutely. This is why we don't want you giving out all 16 sheets of coupons right at the start of the season. That person goes away. You may never see or talk to them again. If it turns out the program's not a good fit for them, they end up just throwing the coupons away or they get lost somewhere and that money will just go unused. So this is why we like you to have those regular touch points. Give those sheets out either once a week or every other week so you can check in with them, see how it's going, see if they're encountering any barriers or issues at the market, if there's anything that can be improved. And then certainly if someone says either this isn't a good fit for me, they don't want to participate anymore, you take them off the list, you can enroll the next person on your waiting list. Same if people move away. We do recommend keeping a waiting list if that's something you're able to do. That way you always have a list of people you can call on if you have space clear up. Is there any additional spots that will open up in our community? The number of coupons we receive is quite small. We've given out coupons for all of the funding that we have, so no more spots will come available this year. If you guys do any of your own fundraising or have any of your own funds to provide to purchase additional coupons, you can do that at any point throughout the year.
Queen, do you see Sonia has had her hand up. I don't know if it's got sorted.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. I'll just jump in. I wasn't seeing in the partner portal how to do the weekly reporting in the portal. I've only ever done it by getting an email link and using that. Can you just explain where I would find that?
Try and share my screen and I can show you guys the portal.
Thank you.
And while you're getting that, I saw a few questions came in. Diane said, since our seniors have smaller meals, we have found that they don't use the full amount. So can we allocate 10 sheets per season and help more seniors by sharing the extra sheets? You may, that's totally allowed. We just ask that you do it knowing that, making sure that they're on board with it. The reason we're emphasizing this is because we had several seniors who were working in a community whereby they were told that they were going to double the amount of seniors by giving them all 8 sheets. And they were pointing out the press release from the government that said, if you're in the program, you get 16. And they were telling the government that, the rules weren't being followed. So that's why we emphasize that it's one household gets 16 sheets. But if a senior or doesn't require it that often and they're okay with it, then you can definitely give them fewer sheets and share them with someone else, because that is normal for many seniors to have a smaller appetite.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yep, I see it.
All right. So again, our website's bcfarmersmarket.org. Under coupon program at the top here, partner portal is on the bottom. No login required. Not everything is up here yet. Sorry, Sonia. That's why you can't find the reports, is because they're not there. I will be working on making all of those hopefully this week, so they will get put up here. But here's the target groups. So if you're a community partner, you can click that. Everything community partner related, filter in here. And then you can get more specific in this list here. So you click program materials. Now here's all of our brochures and such. If you want to look for anything else, our dashboard will be on here. Again, this is still mostly 2024 things, but they will get updated. But as long as you keep clicking on things, it'll keep adding to this list. So just unclick whatever you don't want to see. Here's our dashboard that you can come look at. The dashboard gets live updated with all of the reports you send in. It updates every day. So if you ever need to check on your reports, you can come take a look at this. If you want to purchase coupons, our order form is on here. We will upload this recording. We've also created an updated manual. A physical one will be getting sent out to all of you, but we'll have it available on here as well. Here is all those translated brochures you can take a look at, recipes and activities. And we also have translations of farmers market products that was on an earlier slide as well. And then again, same for farmers markets. Everything farmers market related will come up here. And those reports will be on here soon. Any questions about the portal at all?
I saw a couple of questions in the chat that I'd like to address if we got a minute here.
Yeah.
Alan asked, how do vendors determine which of their products are processed and which are not? An example being fresh fruits versus dehydrated. Fresh only. Dehydrated, freeze-dried is not included in the program right now. Preservation would exceed it or extend the shelf life. We totally understand, but as of our guidelines right now, it is fresh only. There was another one. Advice for a first-time participant. I was a participant. That's how I got involved with the program. And my advice, if I could go back and talk to myself just starting, would be to talk to the vendors to understand kind of what the products I'm getting, how to use them. A lot of vendors really enjoy, I mean, I'm in a busy market, it's a little bit difficult, but enjoy kind of, giving some information to really look up the nutritional facts of some of the vegetables I wasn't quite used to on my own before I go there, and to really go in with an open mind and willingness to try something new. A lot of times we're used to strawberries being available year round because that's within in the grocery store. When you go to a market, you don't have that ability. You have to go with what's in season. So being open-minded to new things is really helpful as a participant. If you have purchased extra coupons through other funding, do you report those in the with those weekly links? Yes, please report all of everything that you have distributed. I think that's everything that hasn't been answered. So if there's anything else, please.
And if you did ask a question and didn't get answered, they're going by fast, so feel free to retype it or raise your hand.
I had someone ask for advice as a first-time distributor, and I'd like to open that up to you guys. Any other community partners that are here that have been doing this for a while? Do you have any advice you would give?
Sure, I don't mind sharing. I'm in Victoria, and our clients are newcomers to Canada. And so sometimes a lack of English literacy is a barrier. We find doing an orientation together with the participants all at once is great, because if there's a participant in the program that was in the year prior, they often have really good suggestions to share with the other clients. And then we give the option of going to the market with them, at least for the first time, and shopping with them. And that they always find that really helpful.
Thanks, Michelle. Any other community partners want to jump in, offer any words of wisdom or what not to do?
And part of it, while someone decides they're going to jump in, I see some veterans here on the call. I might name your names out loud, like Kristen from James Bay Community Project. Though people stop going off camera, but while we have this orientation now, and the program doesn't start for another 3 weeks, this is you're always welcome to reach out to us and your regional coordinator or nutrition or Quinn or Peter, and we're here to support you. But also, if you've got a farmers market that's been in the program for a while and you're new in your role or you're a new organization, then they also are a good source of it, and we want you to work together to make the program successful. So then we really encourage that. That's where you're just talking to them. Because I've turned up at markets or partners for just a little visit to check in and see how it's going, and then saw a system they were using that made it 10 times more complicated to how to count coupons or how to distribute coupons and track them, or they were writing down a large spreadsheet with all the serial numbers, and we're just explaining how that's nothing we need. So if you don't need it for yourself, then you don't have to do it. And they're like, oh my gosh, you just cut my time in half. So we're happy to look for efficiencies, and also if you're kind of start something you're not sure, you heard it here, you want to just double check, just bounce it off us. We're happy to do that. So Chris, I didn't mean to pick on you, but if you had anything to say as someone who's been in the program for half a dozen years or longer.
You're
Hi,
on
Peter.
mute.
It's Teresa from
Yeah.
Soup.
Oh, here's Kristen. Yeah,
Sorry,
unmuted.
it just took me a while to unmute. Um, Words of wisdom. I don't know. I guess just talking to people in general, keeping those lines of communication open with your market and your participants, and just making everyone feel welcome. Having a really organized system in place helps us sort of troubleshoot a little bit ahead of time. We have our participants check in and pick up at our agency every 2 weeks, and that gives our coordinators a chance to sort of keep an eye on people, chat with them, and see if things are going well, or help them out if they're not. If somebody's not picking up coupons over a couple of weeks, we can check in with them then, see how they're doing. With a senior, that might lead us to discover they're in hospital or something, or a family is struggling, and sort of using it as a big tool in the kit for helping, foster resilience and independence, and building a community. That's the biggest joy of this program for sure. And then reach out to Peter and the staff if you have any trouble. They're so helpful.
Teresa, were you going to say something?
Hi, yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted just to make a comment about picking participants, especially this year when there's such a heavy influence on picking, just making sure we're having the lower income participants. That in your agency, if you have the opportunity to have other food programming as well available, sometimes it isn't always picking the very lowest income people to be the best participants for the market program, because it does have some parameters that can be a little bit difficult for people. So yeah, just making sure that people really understand how it works and how to pick it up and go to the market and how to shop, and that they don't get, money back, and all of those kinds of things is really important to having successful participants. And then also just a note to people working at the market. Sometimes people might show up that don't necessarily have the visual of a low income person, but just to have the understanding and trust that we are vetting people that are low income and the best fit for the program, if that makes sense.
Thank you. Yeah, we do try to emphasize that as well. And in some cases, it's not always the person who received the coupons that's there shopping for themselves. If they have mobility issues or any number of things, they could have someone else there shopping on their behalf. So we try to make it clear to all of the vendors and market patrons as well. It's not our place to be passing judgment on who's using coupons, just making it a welcoming space for everyone. Somebody asked, where did it go? What if we have more people wanting to sign up than there are coupons available? This is the case across the board. I think everywhere the demand far exceeds the coupons we have available to give out. This is where we encourage you to make a wait list. It's up to you guys to determine who is going to receive the coupons. We know you're much more in touch with the people in your communities and your clients than we are. That's why we trust you guys to determine who is eligible and who is going to receive them. And then once you've done that, anyone who's left, as long as they are still eligible under our guidelines, can be added to your wait list and then added in later if anyone drops out or moves away or anything. Someone said, I use my honorarium to purchase food and put together take-home meals with a laminated recipe card for the families, incorporating and highlighting what's currently available at the market. That's wonderful. That's a great kind of food literacy tool. We kind of took a step back from the food literacy and activity side of things this year. It used to be a mandatory part of the program years ago that we took away. We know not everyone has the capacity to be running activities, but certainly still love to hear when you guys do. And that's also what the fruit and vegetable vouchers are for. So you can the community partner can go purchase food at the market to run activities, which can include canning, dehydrating, providing recipes, any number of things. Someone said, I've been involved for 9 years. Best advice, ensure vendors who don't accept coupons are fully aware why they cannot. There's always 1 or 2 people that use coupons or coerce or bully new vendors. Definitely important. That's why we have those brochures for the non-eligible vendors as well. We want them to be equally versed in the program and understand the objectives of the program and why they can't accept coupons. When do we expect to receive supplies? Again, we will bring them to the in-person orientations. So those start next week. We're in the Kootenays and the Okanagan. The week after that will be in the North and the Lower Mainland. And then the week right before the program starts will be on the island. So we'll bring everyone's supplies with us and try to send them with people to get to you as much as we can. Anything that ends up coming back to us here will then ship out to you. If by chance you don't receive your supplies by June 20th, this is a possibility. We will try to avoid it, but you can just start distributing coupon sheets as soon as you get them. If you need to start a bit later, that's okay. Diana, go ahead.
So for those that are taking the online, then we're not going to be at those orientation sessions. So do the coupons get mailed to our organization?
We'll still bring them with us to the in-person ones we have in your area in case we can either give them to our coordinator in your area that can drive them to you or deliver them to you. If another market or partner in your community is there, we'll try and send them along with them. If no one's able to get them to you physically, they'll come back to Vancouver and then we'll mail them to you.
Okay.
Are there creative ways for people to receive coupons without standing in a long line at the market? That's kind of up to the community partner. Everyone has their own ways they give out coupons. Some of them do it right at the market, which is usually great. You're already right there. They don't need to make an extra trip. But sometimes people are coming into your office, or if they're using other programming of yours, they pick them up then. In some cases, I think people mail them out. So how you distribute them is really up to you.
I see a question about the program starting because some markets are running year round. The Penticton market started in April. So we usually start it in the first week of June, but we heard about funding the end of March, but then it took us 3 weeks before we got clarity on the program's parameters and changes they were making, and then they withdrew the changes. Then we then have to then take the time to determine the allocations and get the material printed. So the materials aren't even completed being printed yet because it's there, as you see, multiple coupons and millions of dollars worth of stuff. So that's what's making it start at this point. In a future world, we envision running this program year round at all markets that are running year round. But we're working within the constraints of the funding we have. There are some markets like Fernie that don't start for a long time. I think they start in sometime in July or maybe August and run for 8 or 10 weeks only. And so the answer is it does that the markets start at different times, but the program starts at a certain time and they don't always line up. So I know we're starting to get people to drop off, so why don't we'll invite you to and I'll have one more thing to say in a minute to drop off, but you can also stay if you wanted to just keep seeing what other questions people ask, or if you have ones that you want to ask yourself too. The one thing I wanted to mention is if you attend the in-person orientations, we tend to have a quiz at the end where you get a chance to test your knowledge of what we learned. We'll send you out an online version of the quiz. And while if passing or failing it is not a determination on whether or not you get your materials, Pat, you'll learn the things that you might want to. It'll have resources to anything that you thought you knew the answer, but you weren't sure, and you'll be able to get an elaboration. So we'll send you out a reinforcement quiz later at the end of this week, so you can just double check and test that we were able to pass along the right information as a sort of just a reference point. Yes, so you'll know if you know. And with that, anyone who wants to go, you can, but we'll stay on the call for a few minutes. And
Remember, everybody, remember too that your regional coordinator is your friend. Like we are here 100% for you. So if you have questions at any point, we're generally nice people and we will help you. We promise.
Carrie, you've been taking attendance. Do you need clarification on anybody or anything we can do to help you?
Yes, I am doing attendance and I am you know what, the list is it's fine. I think we can figure it out amongst our own team. Thank you.
Mhm. And come to an in-person orientation. You can still come to an in-person orientation if you want to have this once more and you get